Welcome to the No Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick McDonald. With me, co-host Sheldon Kaufman. Today, we are doing our NBA trade deadline preview episode. We're really looking forward to this second deadline now. I don't think we're going to have something as cool as last year where we had Luka Doncic get traded, but I think there's going to be some very significant moves for the playoff picture, and we're going to try to predict some of them. We're trying to predict what some of the teams will be doing throughout the day, and we're going to start with a new segment where we do Immaculate Grid, but for the NBA before every episode. And we'll just see. Are we doing this where I do it and you type it in, or are we just trying to get it combined together?
We'll start with you for the first couple. Let's do just you, and then maybe we'll switch it up as it goes on. Or you
Okay.
can get one phone a friend. You get one for phone a friend per grid. You can tap me in.
Okay.
But
Valid. Very valid.
yeah, and
Okay.
I'll type in. So here we got today's immaculate grid. Got some stats in there along with some teams, so those are always fun. All right, Pat, let's take us through the thought process and try to get immaculate here.
So the 10 rebound per game season is interesting because you would think more guys average 10 rebounds per game than they do, but given the current NBA, that's just not as frequent as it used to be. So to start with that, Orlando's probably a good place to do that. Nikola Vucevic might have done it. He could be a decent answer for that. Um, Dwight Howard 100% did. Am I going to go for a better rarity score? Probably. However, since Shaquille O'Neal exists, Dwight might not be the number one Magic player. So I think my safest guess, and I'll just go ahead and get some points on the board, is to go with Dwight Howard for the Orlando Magic.
Which would have been interesting, but I like the safe play. Okay, 58%.
Oh, darn. Okay, so Shaq would have even been better. Oh, okay. Well, Lakers 10 rebound per game season. Oh, that's pretty. I'm trying to think. I'm assuming does the 10 rebound per game season have to be on the Lakers?
Right. When paired with a team, 10 rebounds per game must be achieved with that team in a single season.
Okay. Okay, because then I was like, okay, I could just pick like Christian Wood. He probably did it with Dallas the one year he was with Dallas as a starter, but um, just Anthony Davis is staring me in the face, and I don't know what to do about that. I saw Anthony Davis earlier making this. Dwight Howard. If I didn't already answer him, he could be a Lakers answer potentially. I guess I'm really just gonna go for layups today. I'm not quite in the immaculate grid mode. I'm gonna throw out Andrew Bynum there. I think that's
I
probably
know.
my best. That's my best safety play and points play, I would think.
Oh, nice. That's a big one. I was
6%.
thinking like
Okay.
maybe JaVale McGee sneakily had 10 rebounds a game for the Lakers, but
Yeah, that one just felt too risky, you know.
yeah, no, I
Um,
agree.
so for Lakers Jazz, I don't know if he played there, but Jalen Hood-Schifino, it's a pretty good answer. Um, I don't know if he
Is that
played with the
locked in?
Jazz though. I I know he went in the Luka trade. He went to the Jazz, but I don't know if he played a game for them. Uh, I mean, Jordan Clarkson is a very obvious answer. Russell Westbrook didn't ever actually play for the Jazz. Joe Ingles hasn't played as a Laker yet. Uh, I let's lock in Jordan Clarkson for Lakers Jazz.
Not feeling him for the Knicks Jazz.
I don't remember him as a New York Knick. That time is hopefully
Right,
coming to an end here pretty soon. 11.
11%.
Okay,
Not
that
bad.
is yeah, not bad whatsoever. So Jazz Magic, I'm gonna put Joe Ingles for that one. Our goat Joe Ingles.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh
I thought
jeez.
that was gonna be a way better score.
I thought that was gonna be decent.
Yeah,
It's recent, that's why it's probably not great. Knicks Jazz. Um, why do I actually not know a name off the top of my head that was Knicks Jazz? Well, Knicks Suns. I'll go ahead and put. Should I put Campaign or should I put Landry Shamet? Let's. I'll go Shamet. I feel like he might be a little bit less. Uh, Campaign's got the viral meme of his hair.
nice.
3%.
3%.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
big.
Okay. Uh, I don't know how I like can't think of a Knicks Jazz player off the top of my head. Derrick Rose, did he play a year with Utah? I don't. He might have actually. I I feel like when he got traded from Cleveland, he went to Utah. I'm gonna put. I don't think he played with them though. I think he just got waived. Yeah, let's try Derrick Rose. Let's try Derrick Rose.
Yeah. This one, I never knew he was even on the.
This is my risky one.
Oh,
Oh
Derrick
no.
Rose.
Okay,
That's
so
a
he
really
didn't.
hard one. I'm like racking my brain and I can't. What'd you say?
Yeah, maybe Clarkson was the play. Maybe Clarkson
Yeah.
was the play. Um,
Do you want
Geez,
to
I'm
move
rattled.
on? Just leave
I'm,
that.
yeah, I'm extremely rattled. Knicks 10 rebounds. Could I get a Charles Oakley?
Nice. 7%.
Okay, let's go. Um, Suns, Lakers is Alex Len. Let's go with that.
It's gonna be good. Wizards legend Alex Len. 0.6%. Nice. There we go.
Let's go. Finally, the ball knowledge is coming out. It took a second. Um, Dude, the Knicks. The thing with the Knicks is they had some absolute bombs. Okay, they had two. Oh dang, Alec Burks and Emmanuel Mudiay are fits for this. Damn it. I was gonna say they had some absurdly bad teams where they had players who were out of the league like right away. I'm gonna say Alec Burks is somehow less than Mudiay.
13%.
Jeez,
Thirteen
rough.
percent. And do you wanna just guess for this last one?
Magic Suns. Could I get a Elfrid
251 is
Payton?
the official score with 9 out of 10, but we can do one.
Yeah, could I get Elfrid Payton?
Yeah. Okay. So
Sorry,
these are the most popular picks for
dang.
each one.
Yeah,
Oh
okay,
wow! Look
not
at
too
that.
bad.
Suns Magic was Shaq. That's kind of that's a crazy like super popular one.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I guess it makes sense.
That was good. Good
Rough.
little one.
Good first one. Do you have trivia still, or are we gonna just rock out?
It's in place of
All right,
trivia.
I fuck with it. It's a good idea. 10 minutes in, we're getting started. Who's getting traded? We're gonna start by talking about the current situation of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, going into this recent couple weeks, it was looking more and more like Giannis was going to get traded. He goes down with that calf strain injury. What do you think Giannis's market is going to look like? Do you think, obviously, if he was really going to be traded, it would be very robust. But do you think Giannis is going to end up being moved this deadline?
I definitely did before he goes down with the big calf strain, and I think that that's just a huge blow for teams wanting to go get him. Um, just even him being available now that he's hurt, I think that there's just the package for him won't be as big as what the Bucks could have gotten. Um, I mean, the Bucks could just shut Giannis down for the rest of the season, so we might see him not even playing um, for the foreseeable future. So I think before, there was a lot of talks of the John Morant trade for Giannis, and I was like, okay, I can maybe see that, or maybe them just getting rid of Giannis altogether and bringing in a solid return, which I think they would have gotten. But after this, I think like before the calf injury, it was looking more and more like it was a possibility. But after this calf injury, I think the chances are pretty slim.
Yeah, I agree. Like a second calf strain in one season, it's going to be really tough to have teams trade for him midseason, especially when you consider the type of teams that will be doing that are going to be contending teams, and they're going to need to win over, especially in the Western Conference. They're not going to be able to stomach not having, play on their roster from those specific spots. I think it's going to be tough, and I really am thinking it's not going to be Giannis getting traded this deadline, or if he does, it'll be somebody who we're not expecting. Um,
I
I
still
think
think. Sorry, go ahead. You can finish.
we're both, if we had the money and we're putting it on Kalshi right now, we're putting Giannis stays in Milwaukee through
Yeah,
the deadline.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. I mean, there's still definitely the possibility of him getting traded maybe later in the off season, when next year's off season comes about. Which, right? He's not a free agent, is he?
He's
Yeah.
got
Okay.
1 year after the year this
Yeah.
year.
So I think that Giannis leaving is still a possibility, but I don't think it will happen. But at this deadline.
Yeah, I think it'll be a next transaction cycle type of thing. With this being said, who do you think is the best player that's going to be dealt at this deadline?
I don't know, Pat. It's really hard to tell because, I mean, maybe MPJ is the best player dealt like from an offensive standpoint. I mean, Sabonis is his name has been floating around in some rumors, and we certainly know what his capabilities are. But those guys are kind of like long shots still. So I mean, Kobe White, Keon Ellis, it's kind of how I'm
Yeah,
feeling that. Anfree Simons, maybe. I don't. Like, he's been playing some pretty good ball recently. It's just not. It's not looking like some of the stars, like the John Morants, are going to be traded, or the Tyler Heroes, or Andrew Wiggins might be the best player if they end up doing that Kuminga swap. I feel like we got a lot of role players getting traded around this deadline as opposed to certified stars.
yeah, and obviously we went ahead and made some mock trades for players who are a little bit better than um like Kobe White and Keon Ellis, but those are the guys who are going to get the bulk of the talking around deadline because more teams can go out and acquire guys like Keon Ellis and Kobe White. Good teams. These are some good teams. These are the top two teams in each conference. What level of buying do you think these teams are going to be involved in?
I think the Celtics and the Pistons maybe be the two biggest buyer of this group. The Pistons needing a star next to Cade Cunningham, especially because I mean, this might be their shot to really make a run for it all. The Celtics, of course, are going to be big buyers at the deadline because they're a top three team in the East without their big guy in Jason Tatum, and they have some expiring contracts to trade. Especially with that big one being Anfree Simons, and I think Anfree Simons has even played better than expectations. So now there's a little bit of a market for him, and you can go get that starting big that you want so bad. For the Pistons, they definitely need to score. A guy I just mentioned, MPJ, would be a great fit for them. A guy that can really shoot the rock. The Thunder, I just don't really, I can't see them being buyers. They have too much on their squad already that they don't really need to add on or trade anyone significant to buy. And the Spurs, I feel like they're in a pretty good place right now. I mean, you could maybe try to get another guy like that can shoot it more consistently than Harrison Barnes, even though he was really good through the first half of the season, or up until the NBA Cup, he was really shooting the ball really well. So maybe just adding another shooter. But I mean, if we're talking about true buyers, I would say the Celtics and the Pistons. Celtics looking for a big man, and the Pistons just maybe a wing scorer that can elevate their offense just a little bit.
Yeah, I really agree with everything you said there. I think the Celtics, right, you hit the nail on the head. They do need an extra center. Neemias Queta has been awesome for them, but they can't play Luka Garza or Tillman in a playoff series right now, so they're going to need an extra guy. And then one thing to look out for with San Antonio is I think Jeremy Sohan is expiring and hasn't been a big piece of their rotation in important games. And I think he's a guy who I would expect, like, I would say he should have uh like 50-50 odds of being traded at this deadline, more than 50-50 odds, that is. To probably a team trying to buy low on him. If I had to give like a historical example, it's like the Heat buying in on Davion Mitchell at last year's deadline, and then he balls out for the remainder of the season and then gets a decently sized contract extension with them over this past offseason. It would be something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a great team. It could be a team that plays Sohan in a playoff rotation or not. It could be a bad team as well. So OKC, like you said, there's not much of a need. So we'll have mock trades that will obviously hit on with these teams. Hopefully, I think at least two of those, I think, pop up. We have the 3 and 4 seeds now. The Toronto Raptors, Denver Nuggets, Houston Rockets, and New York Knicks. Out of these teams, any of them that you think should be huge buyers? Obviously not huge sellers in this group. This is not the MLB.
I don't know. I feel like the Nuggets, their biggest buy was their role players getting to step up with the absence of Nikola Jokic. I think this is like a better squad. Um, I would even say talent wise than before Jokic got hurt. Because I mean, we talk about what Peyton Watson's been able to do and Jamal Murray's been able to do in his absence. Guys like Jalen Pickett, Zeke Naji, a guy who has gotten a little hate on this show. Not for me. I love Big Zeke, but he's stepped it up in a big way too. Jalen Pickett, another guard, and Christian Braun is like. Am I mistaken, Pat or Brown? He's been like very in and out of the lineup, like consistently, right? I feel like
Availability wise, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, availability wise, of course. So I think the Nuggets are in a pretty good spot. So I don't really see them doing anything. The Raptors, they could possibly make a move. Let me see if I wrote it down on my notes. I think I did. Oh yeah, Sabonis, right? That was a guy that's been mentioned, and you know, who would you give up if you're the Raptors? Do you want to give up Jakob Poeltl, the guy who you just spent all that money on? Um, and and Emmanuel quickly, like is that too much to go and get Sabonis, a guy who's been kind of hurt, but also the Kings don't have anything to play for, so he definitely it could be an instance of him being able to play through injuries, and they just want to have him healthy for next season. So I could see the Raptors maybe buying big on Sabonis. Um, the Knicks, I think the Knicks do need to buy, and it's not the glamorous cat trade or anything like that, but go out and get a wing, like a or not even a wing, but a guy that can play next to Brunson and like guard, play good defense and give you a scoring pump. A guy I thought was Keon Ellis. Like if the Knicks could get Keon Ellis, maybe he could fill that Josh Hart role, but with a way better offensive scoring potential, like from the three ball and even driving to the rim. And he's still a guy that gets a lot of boards for a guard. So he kind of can take over that Josh Hart role by giving them a better option for shooting. And you can put him right next to Jalen Brunson and have him play great defense. And, the Rockets, I could see them possibly getting a guard. So I guess that was kind of my long explanation for all the teams. But I think the Knicks and Raptors are probably going to be the biggest buyers at the deadline. And then the Rockets, we could see them make a sneaky move for a point guard. Yeah.
I think with the Knicks, you hit the nail on the head. They don't need a glamorous move. They just need one more guy who can play in the playoffs. The Raptors, they need one good scorer who's not 6'6". The Rockets and Nuggets, I think, could both use a little bit of bench shooting that can be just a little bit reliable. I actually really like Keon Ellis for Denver and Houston. I think every team can basically fit him into their cap structure because he makes the league minimum. I think Keon Ellis should be a fit for both of those guys, on top of the Knicks as well, like you mentioned. And I think that those are obviously all very clear weaknesses of those teams. How do you feel about long term with Valanciunas as the backup center for Denver? Maybe not
mean,
long term,
he's
but
been
for this year.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, early out throughout the season, I felt like that he did a pretty good job whenever Jokic came off the bench, and the offense had definitely been better without like in previous like compared to previous years, the bench scoring had been a lot better. So I'd be fine with him in that spot. You know, you're not asking for a bunch out of him, so why not?
Yeah, I think all of these teams are maybe outside of Toronto, these teams are all like filling out the fringes of their roster, and then Toronto, I think, is a team that could see some structural change to their roster build. I think, like you said, just get a good scorer who's not 6'6". I think is big for them. These are other teams. Didn't want to put the logos because there's a ton of them. Uh, these are the teams kind of in the middle. We could see them making playoffs. You can throw the Hawks in this race as well on the east side. But Cavs, Sixers, Heat, Magic, Hawks, Wolves, Suns, Warriors, Blazers, Lakers, Clippers. Um, what do you think about these teams? What are any of these clear buyers or clear sellers for you?
I mean, I think the Wolves need to be buyers because we hadn't been able to get to really talk about it on the podcast, but they've been struggling a little bit recently. Um, they've lost, I think, like 5 games. I think they did beat the Warriors last night, but that was without Steph Curry, and before that they lost. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. 2 of those games, or 3 of those games, to the Warriors without Jimmy Butler, the Bulls, and then the Jazz. So it's been rough, and it's you're giving too much of a workload for Anthony Edwards. Like, not only is he having to score all these points for you, but he's having to take up the ball and also play make. Something that it's a lot for him, and I feel like they just need a point guard. However way you can get it. And if you're the Wolves, I feel like you got to either go out and get like a Kobe White. Even if you want to stay on that Bulls team, you could go for an Ayu Desomnu as well. Uh, and the way you make it work, maybe you send Rob Dillingham and uh, Mike Conley. Maybe I forget.
We'll get to it in a second.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So I think the Wolves definitely need to be buyers. The Suns, I think they'll be chilling. The Warriors as well. I mean, they're kind of screwed after the injury to Butler. Um, the Lakers need to be buyers. I think um, they need some defense on that team. Where like I'm thinking from the wing position, I think a name that could be interesting to look at is Najee Marshall. I don't really know how much the Mavs and Lakers will be doing business though, considering last year's trade deadline. But maybe you can go out and try to get like a Sadiq Bey. I don't know. I feel like that could be like a decent fit for them. Maybe. I think the Clippers are going to stay where they are. Before, Zubac, I think, was a big name on the market. I think his name's off the market now. I think it's going to be hard to trade for Zubac now that this team is starting to right the ship a little bit. Um, Heat, I think they're going to stay as well. I don't know, Pat, if you have anything on the Heat. Maybe they're looking at anybody, but the only thing I've seen for them is like them trading Wiggins to the Warriors again for Kaminga, which I guess could be an interesting move. Maybe that's the only thing that they do. I think the Cavs and 76ers they stay. I think there's like out of this list, there's really like 3 buyers potentially, really just two.
Yeah, I think the 76ers and Suns are in positions where they're clearly ahead of schedule. Like they weren't supposed to be this good. And I do think they're both pretty good and they can make improvements to their roster, but I don't know, especially in Phoenix's situation where like they're not in control of their picks ever. It's going to be really hard to continue to add to this team. So it might kind of be more of a one season type of run here for Phoenix. Um, and then Philly could obviously restructure, their team build a little bit. They have a ton of guards who aren't fully point guards, who are wings, with Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain, who they could move. I think have a good bit of value. Um, Warriors, like, we have no idea what they're going to do considering the Jimmy Butler thing that just happened. And I think with the Heat, you could make an interesting case that they might actually end up selling off a little bit, especially with the recent struggles of Bam Adebayo. You mentioned the Kuminga trade, where they, dismantle Wiggins. I don't want to say dismantle, but they trade Wiggins um, in favor of Kuminga. They could do some soft selling, just like some other teams can do some soft buying. I think Portland is weirdly interesting. I think you could make the argument that they're in the ahead of schedule group as well. The thing with Portland is they have all those Milwaukee picks, and they do have a lot of surplus at most positions, but none of the position, like you look at them and you're never like, oh, they're plus at this position or this position as far as roster wise, but they have a lot of different guys, so they could consolidate um, easily by just moving a couple guys, I think. And Portland could be an interesting buyer, and I'm not sure how much they see in their like long-term future outside of like Danny Avdia and like Donovan Clingan and Young Hansen potentially. So I think they're interesting buyers. What do you think about Portland? Or do you see them more as a seller?
I don't. I mean, I just don't know who they'd go out and acquire. Um, I mean, I could see them possibly be sellers with. I mean, um, maybe they go get Avery Simons back, trade Rob
Maybe.
Williams, trade Rob Williams over to the Celtics, a team that's in need of a center, um, especially with not a lot of big center names out there. Go get Avery Simons back. I mean, that's a possibility. It would be weird. It'd be a really weird move. But I mean, you could do that. Like I'm trying to think the position. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. The Trailblazers aren't on my radar right now for teams making moves at the deadline. But that's just from my perspective. I just don't really see who they'd go out to get and who they'd have to trade. Because I don't see them getting rid of like Shaden Sharp or anything like that. And like, I don't know. Like, do teams want to go out and get Drew Holiday? Or the Blazers even want to give up Drew Holiday? Like, they're not going to give up Denny. They're not going to give up Kamara. Um, they're not going to give up any of their big men, I don't think. So, uh, yeah, I don't know.
I think that's
That
a
one's
good
a little
point.
harder for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point where it's like they don't have many guys who other teams are going to want desperately because even like Drew Holiday, who like doesn't necessarily fit the timeline, who they could view as expendable. How many teams are going to be lining up for Drew Holiday at 35 years old right now? Probably not too many. But I do have a trade for Portland, and we'll get into it. I think now we're just working with mock trades. So let's go ahead and move forward. Oh, no, I have one more slide. Anthony Davis and Ja Morant. These are probably two of the most interesting potential trade candidates, and I was interested in what you think about these two guys.
It's a Giannis situation again for me, Pat. Like 2 weeks ago, I could see John Morant getting very easily traded, and honestly, Anthony Davis as well, especially to maybe the Pistons, um, the Warriors, or the Heat, or something like that. And then John Morant, I thought could go to the Heat as well, or maybe even the Bucks. And then both these guys go down with injuries. Like John Morant's still injured for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, Anthony Davis is also injured for a while too, as well. So
Yes, Anthony Davis is out for a really long time. Um, So like if you're a team like no team competing is going to go trade for one of these guys that they can't have making an impact on their roster for multiple weeks. Like, if this is an injury where they'll be back like in 5 games, like yeah, okay, you go out and get these guys. Now it's a situation where they're hurt or I don't really know that's going to happen. I just don't see these guys getting traded because of the injuries. I think before I would be talking to you about, um, the Grizzlies getting someone from the Heat for John Morant, like maybe a Hero or Andrew Wiggins or something like that, and then the Mavericks maybe potentially getting like Jaden Ivey or Jonathan Kaminga, something like that, But Yeah, just after these injuries, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I didn't draw up a trade, but did now just check, and John Morant for Tyler Hero does work. Now the Heat, I think, would enter the luxury tax, which they historically don't like to do. So you just have to see. I really don't know. Well, if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, I just don't see how you sell off John Morant for Tyler Hero and a first round pick. Uh, I mean, maybe you do actually do it. What do you think about that? Do you think Tyler Hero and a first round pick for Ja, is that something you can pallet to the fans?
I think so. I mean, like it would suck, but I think Tyler Hero is a pretty damn good ball player. Um, I don't I don't have his stats up in front of me, so I'll kind of talk a little more while I pull him up. But yeah, you give up or you get a first round pick for John Moran. I think that's pretty big. Even though it's the Heat, who's usually a pretty good team, or honestly, they're usually picking around like the 20s. So you could still possibly get a good player from them. And honestly, like the John Morant stuff, it's just not working out. Like it's either he's not only is he not healthy, but he's also like there's a lot of turmoil in the locker room with him. Um, so I mean, it would definitely hurt to see Ja go just because what he's been doing for the city for so long. But I mean, Tyler Hero is putting up 21.9 points, and that's on him shooting average from the 3 point line. So if I'm Memphis fans, I would not be opposed to that at all. If I'm a Miami fan, I wouldn't be opposed to that as well. Getting John Morant to run your point guard or run the point for you. Have Davion Mitchell maybe be the two for defensive purposes, or even him coming off the bench would be huge.
Yeah, from my perspective as Memphis, it's like this is the most exciting player, and maybe not best player, but it's the most exciting player that Memphis has ever had. So it's going to be hard to move away from a guy like that, especially since he is a fan favorite. And then on the Miami side, like I would, I guess, do it, and the way I would talk myself into it as the Miami Heat is, well, we're going to overpay Tyler Hero this offseason, basically no matter what. So instead of overpaying Tyler Hero for 5 seasons, let's just overpay John Morant for 2 seasons. And John Morant hopefully is a better player than Tyler Hero, so you feel a little bit better about that. That's my rationale with it. I really, it's I think a lose-lose situation to be in. We got a couple mock trades now, and we're gonna have more. This is the obvious. This one is not. This isn't
Oh,
a
that's the
mock
one I
trade.
said. Okay.
Yeah, this one's in the mock trade Hall of Fame. I think everybody has proposed this trade, but I had to include it. It just makes too much sense. That Indiana pick is a second rounder this season. It'll probably be like pick 35 or something. That's pretty good for Kobe White. If you have any belief in Rob Dillingham, you get an early second in Rob Dillingham for Kobe White, who's on an expiring. I think this is fine. If I'm Chicago, if I'm moving Kobe White this deadline, if I'm looking to, then this is something I would take him for. I assume you don't have much disagreement, considering you did basically propose this exact deal earlier. And I think a key with Kobe White too is he's such a great off the catch player on top of being a ball handler. Next to Anthony Edwards, he's an effective off the catch shooter and driver, so it's just a good fit, I think. And it allows you to get an extra ball handler while not taking Anthony Edwards off the ball because, we have X small ball handler. They need to run point guard every possession. Kobe White doesn't do that for you. So this is a Knicks deal. Trading with the Pelicans, acquiring Yuzmisi and Sadiq Bey for Gershon Yabusele, Pacom Dadia, and Jordan Clarkson, and the Washington Wizards' first-round pick this season, which is top 9 protected, so it will end up being 2 second-round picks. So, what do you think about it?
Honestly, I like it. I feel like Sadiq Bey. I mean, I mentioned him to the Warriors, or no, the Lakers, I think. So I obviously have this is a guy that can go out and just get buckets for you. Also, give you a little bit on defense too. Yves Misi, we've seen him play some good basketball, rebounding the ball pretty well, good lob threat. Um, yeah, and then it gives you the flexibility to put Cat as a four and still have Mitchell Robinson not have to play a bunch of minutes and give him the same minutes that he usually gets. And then you get, of course, Misi, who's a pretty good player. You get rid of Yabusele, who's been, struggling a lot for this team. Paco Dadier, he just hasn't been able to see the floor, it seems like. And then Jordan Clarkson, a guy who's kind of inefficient coming off the bench. You get Sadiq Bey, a guy who will give you points consistently. Use Misi, who can give you points and also rebound the ball really well. So I like it.
Yeah, for the Knicks, you're trading guys who are out of the rotation for guys who can serve purposes in a rotation. I don't think Misi's a rotational center right now, but he's somebody who can play 4 minutes a game for you to just have an extra big in instances where, okay, well, Mitchell Robinson, instead of playing him 25 minutes, let's play him 17, and Misi will go out there and play during some double big lineups. And then Sadiq Bey, they need like a big wing on the Knicks, that because like all of their wings are like Deuce McBride and Landry Shamet and Josh Hart, who are all under 6'4", so they need a couple extra wings on the team. And Steve Bay is a 6'6" shooter, so I think it helps. With the Pelicans, if Pacom Daria can't play with the Pelicans, he can't play anywhere, and he's a former first rounder. And then you're getting really the valuable piece is that Wizards pick, which will end up being like the 35th pick in each of these next two drafts, more likely than not. So, yeah, from the Pelican side, do you agree with this?
Yeah, Clarkson's a guy that can, go out there and play Pelicans basketball. Yabusele, you could possibly catch lightning in a bottle with him twice from that 76er season. And then I think the first round pick is probably the most valuable if the Wizards end up getting screwed by the lottery. So
Yeah, and that is the ultimate possible situation for New Orleans here is if the Wizards play well to end the season and then they drop a couple spots, suddenly you're ending up with a top 10 pick, and that's pretty valuable. So there's that. Let's go forward to the next one. This is an interesting one, and I've not seen this anywhere, but as a bottom feeding team, I feel like the Pacers are the type of organization that will be sharp and thinking ahead of things and saying, when Halliburton's healthy next season, we're going to need a starting center. We're not going to be able to pay Benedict Mathurin what he probably wants. So let's go ahead and get ahead of this, and let's get our starting center for next season in Jaren Jackson Jr. We'll make up a nice little injury for him. It's going to be complete bullshit, right? Fake injury, and he's going to sit out for the rest of the season. And now you have him rather than having a first round pick and Benedict Mathurin. And then Obi Toppin is a guy who he does help, but it's Obi Toppin making $14 million. He's really just in there to make the salaries work. What do you think about this deal? I don't know if I've ever seen this proposed.
yeah, I think I was going to talk about Jaren Jackson potentially. I forget 100%. I think I had maybe
Boston,
him going to the Boston. No, it wasn't Boston. I was thinking the Knicks.
I would like it.
Maybe
I would like it.
I can't remember what I saw, but yeah, this is really good. I haven't seen this, and I think it makes perfect sense. Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin played really good for the Piston or for the Pacers, so the Grizzlies would definitely want to take a look at them on their squad, especially giving out your power forward and Jaren Jackson Jr. You bring in two kind of wing players. Jarris Walker is kind of just I feel like there. He hasn't really done anything in his since being drafted significant. He's definitely played down expectations, and this was supposed to be his big year, and he didn't really show out. And then you get the first round pick from Indiana, and that's 2027, top 14 protected, and they won't be playing, they won't be picking top 14 whenever Halliburton's going to be in. So And then for the Pacers, you acquire a great defensive talent and offensive talent in Jaren Jackson Jr., and it fills the hole that Miles Turner left, and I think it fills it even better.
Yeah, and the hard part too was to evaluate Jaren Jackson Jr., who's having a little bit of a down season right after getting a huge contract extension. It's like, how will this guy have value on the market? I'm not sure necessarily, and I could see it being this. I could see it being three more picks on top of this. I could see it being the Grizzlies having to send out picks to get somebody to take his contract. I think there's a large variability about where his market might be, and that's why it's probably unlikely he ends up getting traded, because I don't think they're going to trade him if they don't trade John Morant. But a team like the Pacers, who we have recently seen go and acquire their 2026 first round pick before the season even ended, during the finals last year, and then now they have their pick during this season where they're bottoming out. They're a team who clearly sees things very far out in the future well, and I think this is the type of thing that they would do. But maybe since I'm bringing it up, maybe it isn't the type of thing that they would do. I don't know. What do you think on the first round pick exchange? Is this fair, especially considering they're getting Mathurin, even though Mathurin has to be extended?
What you is it fair for the Grizzlies to get the first round? Or are you saying that
Or should it be like this or more, basically?
more for Jaren Jackson?
Yeah, what do you think? Or is it fair how it is?
Maybe you throw in like a second. I don't think another first round pick. Because you're taking in a huge contract and you're giving out like solid rotation players. Benedict Mathurin, a guy that showed out in the playoffs, shooting the ball and finishing. Obi Toppin, a guy high flyer that can also he developed a 3-point shot. Um, you get the first, maybe add a second. I don't know if you throw in another first. Um, and maybe if you do, it's like very far down the road, like 2032 or something like that. But like, is it? Yeah,
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think the reason I did 27 was obviously the 26 pick is way more valuable than the 27 pick. And then looking forward, the Pacers might have a luxury tax crunch coming up somewhat soon. So having the extra pick in 28 is something that they might want for sure. So uh, yeah, let's go ahead and trug on forward. Uh, Here's the Blazers deal. MPJ to the Blazers,
wow.
along with him is Cam Thomas. Going out is Jeremy Grant and Matisse Thybulle, and two picks, one of them being the 2029 Milwaukee pick. Um, the thing with Portland is they're just adding grease to the wheels of their offense that has been trending in the right direction. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is somebody who's going to be super uh, detracting from what Denny Avdia does. You just get another spacer around him who can also get shots up. And then Cam Thomas is somebody who can come off the bench and just be a bench scorer for them. And I think that's a good role for him. And in the case of Portland, I don't think they really care that they won't be able to bring him back next season, because next season they'll have Damian Lillard coming back. Um, so you just get somebody for what could be a playoff run in Cam Thomas, who could get hot. And then from the Brooklyn Nets side of things, you just got a first round pick to take on Michael Porter Jr. And now you're going to get one from Milwaukee, who knows what's going on with them. And if Giannis becomes available, Brooklyn is a team that might be interested. Having that Milwaukee pick is valuable. Jeremy Grant is probably a negative asset, so you get the extra pick. And Matisse Thybulle, expiring contracts, he's played for. So what do you think about this deal?
I think that Portland getting the two first round picks definitely helps. Um, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle. I mean, yeah, continue to tank. Michael Porter Jr. is only on a 1-year deal, right, or 2-year deal.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-year deal.
Yeah, but you were gonna lose him to free agency anyways. Might as well get the 2 first-round picks. Cam Thomas is a guy that you paid him $5 million on like a prove it deal. So yeah, go ahead and trade him. Get Jeremy Grant, who's been better this season. Still a lot of money, but only 2 3 years left on that contract. And Matisse Thybulle, a guy that you can maybe Drake Powell can learn from him defensively. Um, get his defense up, and then you get the 2 first-round picks on a Milwaukee team that uh, might be really bad soon if Giannis ends up leaving.
Yeah, and then the 31 one is a swap from Portland in the very distant future in 2031. So that could end up also being an extremely valuable asset. And then I would almost see Jeremy Grant as another chance, like with Michael Porter Jr., to just rekindle value on the guy. And in a year, you flip him for maybe another pick, or you just get another guy who you think you could flip into value long term. So uh, I like this for sure. And then, yeah, I like the call of Matisse working with Drake Powell. I think that's pretty good. All out desperation move here. The Warriors have just lost Jimmy Butler. So you're going out and trading him for the best possible player you can find in Lauri Markkanen. You're getting Yusuf Nurkic, which allows you to get a little bit more size. He's on an expiring deal. You give up Jonathan Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, 2 swaps, and a first-round pick this season. So if things continue to go poorly, the Jazz will be getting that pick. What do you think about this deal?
Wow, this is extremely interesting. Um, Honestly, it's not even bad for the Warriors. The more I look at it, like because Jimmy Butler's not going to be playing for you, Kaminga's not going to be playing for you. You get a guy that definitely will be playing for you and kind of fills that Jimmy Butler role. A guy that can go out and score like 20 a night, play and he's active on defense. And then Nurkic is like slowly turned his career around, career resurgence, even though he wasn't that bad a couple years ago. Um, Shoots the three well. He had like 4 triple doubles in his past 4 games or something crazy like that. So he's been popping off. This is a team that needs a center. Yeah, I you give up 3 first-round picks, which is a lot, and that might be my only concern, especially because Steph Curry's not going to be there in 2020 or 2030, and might not even be there in 2028. Like we really don't know. So they could be like absolute shit, and then you don't have Jimmy Butler, and so you're just kind of. I mean, you move forward with Markkanen and Nurkic as like the main guys, and I mean, those have been the main guys on the Jazz, and the Jazz have been kind of shitty for a while. So I don't know. It that might be my only concern, but honestly, I don't mind it at all for the Warriors, especially if that helps. I mean, it's going to help your chances a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, at this point, the season looks kind of cooked. So trade the guy who get tearing his ACL made the season cooked. I guess that's what you got to do. And you get Larry Markkinen, who you can replace the scoring, and they did need size with Yusuf Nurkic. So you see it as like, okay, Jimmy Butler, you don't want to trade him, but having Larry Markkinen and Nurkic is probably better than just Jimmy Butler. And then when you consider the fact that you don't have Jimmy Butler anymore, the team this year is getting a lot better, and then Kuminga is. I think they're very much out on Jonathan Kuminga, and what not a better place for him to go than the Utah Jazz, where
Yeah.
him and Ace Bailey can shoot as many shots as they want, uh,
A
as
dream.
long as they get out of the way of Keontae George.
Yeah,
But
of course.
yeah, I like this deal. It's weird, but we've done a lot of Larry Markkinen trades with him going to the Warriors, but never in that context. So we got a little bit more time. We haven't quite hit our hour quota yet. We're going to react to the 10 biggest trade pieces Bleacher Report has put out and their landing spots. So Herb Jones.
It's not.
Well, this is just going to have to fly for now. Herb Jones, number 10 on their list. Most interesting thing with Herb Jones is that his salary for this season is way lower than his extension salary. So now is the time to buy in on Herb Jones before it is really rough for your cap situation. Uh, let's see who they. So they see the Warriors, the Lakers, the Jazz as realistic candidates for Herb Jones. Lakers, I think is Lakers for clicks. Let's talk about them. What do we think?
I mean, yeah, that's the big obvious name, but the Pelicans have been. It seems like they're very hesitant to trade him to the Lakers. So I don't see it as a possibility. Obviously, it would be an amazing fit and it's exactly what they need. But I don't think the Pelicans are happy with trading him to the Lakers at least.
Yeah, the Lakers package would probably be like Rui and two picks.
And
I don't
Dalton
know.
Connect.
Yeah, can't forget Dalton Connect. Um, I don't see a trade package that's that enticing for me if I'm the Pelicans. I would just keep Herb Jones. Um, Warriors, I think, is that really what the Warriors need at this point?
I think no, they need offense. If you have Jimmy Butler, this is maybe a good thing, but with the absence of Jimmy Butler, you need a guy that can go in there and score. And although I love Herb Jones and what he brings defensively and even offensively as well, I just don't think it's at the level of what the Warriors truly need right now.
Yeah, I agree. And then the Jazz are interesting, I guess. They could use a defensive, but
Yeah,
I
I just
don't see
don't see
them
them
as
as buyers.
buyers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't either.
exactly. It makes no sense.
Unless this is a situation where they're trying to get ahead of things and Herb Jones has the injury history, they can probably like hide the fact that they're faking an injury for him. Um, but I don't really see it. John Moran at number 9. Wow. So John Morant, they list the Heat and the Kings as realistic landing spots. I kind of agree. Uh, I would throw the Raptors in as a third landing spot potentially. What do you think about any of those three places for Ja?
Yeah, I mean, I already mentioned the Heat. I like the Heat one a lot, and for the Raptors, I mean, you give them Emmanuel quickly. I would think quickly and maybe Barrett if you need to give up that much. Maybe just one or the other, and then a pick. That would be fine for me for either team. I don't really like the Kings fit because you're just kind of sending them to purgatory. Um, and that would just suck. And then like what you get Zach Levine back unless you get Keon Ellis, I would maybe do that, but I think the Heat would be the most realistic for me.
Even Keon Ellis is kind of rough because the Kings messed up extending him, and yeah, you have they messed it up basically, and it's really hard to extend him now. So shout out to the Kings, they're messing it up not for themselves but also everybody else. Zach Levine,
Levine.
Bucks is popping up. I'm assuming
Yeah, the
Nets,
Nets.
Bucks, Pelicans. Uh
I like how the bottom of the league teams are just trading with each other. I think for me it'd be the Bucks. It got to be the most realistic one. I don't see these two other teams like trading for him. And then like if you're the Pelican or if you're the Kings asking for the Pelicans, like who do you go for? Who do you go get? You're not going to get Trey Murphy for Zach Levine. You could maybe get Zion for Zach Levine, but I think that's all you can really get, and that's even maybe a big ask. So,
you would definitely have to attach assets to get Zion because he has a non-guaranteed contract. So
oh, true. Okay, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think the Bucks could do it, and I don't know. Maybe they give up Bobby Portis. I don't really know.
it would be
I'm
like
not.
Portis, Kuzma, and like one other player making like $3 to $5 million.
Yeah, Cole Anthony.
I don't even think Cole Anthony makes the minimum. I think so. It would be like I know KPJ makes in that range for them. I know Ryan Rollins does, but I don't think either of those guys are like who they're trying to deal away. And like quite frankly, I mean, I just don't think they should be trading for Levine. But
Yeah, it's
uh, Like they're rumored to. I think that's mainly because the Giannis thing. So yeah, like KPJ or Gary Trent Jr. I think they could do it with, or Gary Harris. Kobe White, yeah, we talked about him. Timberwolves, see, Bucks does make sense. Timberwolves, Kings. I
I
mean,
think
it's the King.
Timberwolves is most realistic. Yeah, the Kings is in every single fucking trade.
Yeah.
They're just a
Uh,
perfect fit for any player.
yeah. Any player with a pulse will take you. How do you like the Kobe White Bucks fit?
I mean, it'd be good, but like, yeah, I don't think the Bulls want Kuzma or Bobby Portis. Like, I just don't see that as a realistic trade option. So I think the Timberwolves.
Now, if you could somehow make them take crazy pills and tell them that like Bobby Portis is like could be their backup stretch big to play in like 5 out lineups, and they are going to be a team that probably does need 5 out lineups a lot.
Bobby Portis' return to Chicago.
Like, yeah, like Portis, especially if they don't think they're going to bring back Kobe White with like their current team build. Like, I guess Bobby Portis makes sense. And then if you're Milwaukee, like, yeah, do that regardless of what you think Giannis is, because you extend Kobe White and like it's a good player that you weren't going to have otherwise. So I guess. What do you think of that?
I mean, like you said, I guess. Like if I, it just seems it seems so weird. And then like Giannis, we don't know what's gonna go on with him. I think the Timberwolves have a much better package to send him. So I'm gonna stick with the Timberwolves. I don't know. I just don't see that as a realistic trade for the Bucks.
Jonathan Kaminga, baby. Let's see.
Shocker.
Um, Out of the rotation, the Chicago Bulls, of course. They
The
love
King.
some shit wings. The Los Angeles Lakers, the Kings, and the Jazz.
Interesting. Um, the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls.
Kobe White for Kaminga, I think the
Yeah.
Warriors would like it. Or like
Yeah.
even Vooch.
Ooh. Yeah, I like that more. I think I'd like that more just for now. But Kobe White could also give you like, I guess, an heir to Steph Curry. It's not the best heir, but like it is one, and it's one that you don't have to go like trade or like get a rookie and him have to. You have to wait 5 more years before he becomes that kind of face of the franchise guy. Not saying that Kobe White is a face of the franchise type of player. So I think I'm gonna go Vooch if I have to pick, and I honestly like that a lot for the Warriors.
Yeah,
Um,
like
and
I
then
agree.
the Lakers, yeah, I guess
It would be like Rui.
Rui
I don't
connect
see.
and picks. Every trade package is the same.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't. But I really want Kaminga over Rui. Like no. So I mean, I'm sure they could probably deal with like Connect and Gabe Vincent.
I still think they should try to go with the Kings and get Malik Monk, like
Yeah,
that trade that I sent you a while ago. That was the rejected offer, the rumored rejected offer. But it is what it is.
I agree, and that's probably what the Kings are in there for. I mean, if you could get like Malik Monk and Keon Ellis, that's great, right? And the team's in a great spot, and you don't even. I mean, you probably still do trade Jimmy Butler, but you don't have to. And we talked about. I think off the episode, we talked about DeRozan and how he could weirdly work in Golden State next to Steph Curry, just because Steph Curry makes it to where you don't really need shooting on the floor because like teams just like freak out when Steph Curry is anywhere in remote location to the basketball. So it doesn't matter too much what the spacing is of your other players. Um, yeah, I, I don't really Kaminga. I just don't see how a team will be that interested. And we talked about the McCollum for Kaminga idea, but now CJ McCollum is a Atlanta Hawk. I guess you could apply it to Chris Middleton, but even like he's even like not available at all. So ever. Uh, we'll move.
Yo, what's good with you, bro?
What?
What's good with you? Why are you dissing Chris Middleton?
No, shout out to Chris Middleton.
Boy
Middleton's
got
awesome.
boy got confused.
I was like, what's going on? I like, did somebody join the call? What has happened? Um, Demonis Sabonis. Interesting. We talked about him as maybe the best guy to get traded. Atlanta Hawks and Toronto Raptors. I'm surprised no Warriors have popped up
Yeah,
for
I don't
him.
know. I mean, the Hawks is interesting. That's really interesting. I wonder, do you give up Ricochet to the Kings? I would do that if I'm the Hawks.
It would
Give up
probably be like
Ricochet and
Ricochet and
a
KP,
pick.
I would think.
And who? KP?
KP.
Ooh. Honestly, if I was the Hawks, is it crazy to say I'd rather have Sabonis just because at least he'll play there, like he'll play in the regular season,
I
even though he's
agree.
hurt, even though they're both injury prone. Like, dude, Porzingis actually made a glass. Like, this is the worst it's been, and it started since the playoffs. So, like, this is actually insane. Then the Raptors, I feel like okay, Pat, you give up Barrett and a pick. Would that be good enough, or you give up quickly in a pick? Or would you have to maybe give up both quickly, Barrett and a pick?
I can't remember what we did in our Fixing the Broken Teams episode, but it was like Jakob Pertl, RJ Barrett, and two firsts, I think. Just
So,
because like
so you think that if Sabonis is on this team, this Raptors team, Pirtle has to go.
just based on how they like to play with centers, it would just be weird to play both of those guys together and they're paying them like they're paying Pirtle too much money long term and short term to like have him play 15 minutes a game.
Yeah. Okay. See, that was the
And it
thing. Like, that's why I was saying Barrett and quickly because I was like thinking like, damn, they just paid Pirtle a boatload this off season. Like, do they want to depart from him so soon? But hearing you say that, it would make sense why he has to go. And you get a like this guy was leading the league in rebounds like 4 years in a row or something crazy like that. This is a and he's usually a good scorer. Kind of regressed a little bit this season, but maybe that's just because of the injuries.
and the injury proneness too is like something that's only happened this season too. Before that,
Exactly.
Sabonis
Yeah.
was quite an Iron Man.
Yeah. Weird
Yeah,
year.
I'd like it for the Raptors. I think it makes sense. Atlanta, I don't really know how I feel about Atlanta getting Sabonis. Like they could hide him, but it would feel like doing the um Trae Young thing all again, but with a center instead of a point guard. I just don't know how I would like that. Um, Next, Anthony Davis. I'm assuming Atlanta's also on this. Atlanta, Golden State, Toronto.
Honestly, bro, if I was the Mavs, I might want to trade him to Toronto and get Jakob Pertl for it to anchor down the. I don't know.
They're
Um,
collecting almost starting centers like Infinity Stones with him, Gafford, and Lively.
yeah. Um, Gafford's another name I think that could be traded to the Celtics.
Gafford would be awesome on the
Just
Celtics.
throwing that
They
out
get
there, but
my nightmare situation is if the Celtics trade two firsts and Simons for Marshall and Gafford.
that'd be bad. They'd be the best team in the league.
Like, yeah, they would.
But yeah, like I said, I just don't think that Davis gets traded at all this offseason. And then look, if you see it right there in the top news, it says underneath bold Celtics trade line prediction, Mavs unlikely to move AD. So I just it's not a trade I think is going to happen.
Mhm. Warriors, though, if they swap Jimmy for AD,
But again, Palinka came out and said that, or yeah, Palinka is Palinka on the Suns.
Flink is the Lakers.
Okay, yeah, Palinka said he's not going to trade Butler. Obviously, it could be like smoke and mirrors from the GM. So I don't know how we could maybe take that with a grain of salt, but for me, Pat, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it would be a really weird turn of events to trade Jimmy Butler. And I'm trying to figure out Mike Dunleavy. There we go. It's the name you're looking for. Who wouldn't trade Jimmy Butler?
Oh, it is Dunleavy, not Poinka.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't. Oh yeah, Poinka's on the Lakers.
yeah.
I'm
I was like,
wait, I'm tweaking. Damn, that's rough.
that is really rough. MPJ, Brooklyn Nets, Pistons, Warriors, Milwaukee Bucks,
Yeah.
and the Portland Trailblazers. You heard it here first.
And the Trailblazers. I think the Pistons is the best shot. You know, you give Tobias Harris, maybe,
Ivy,
yeah, Ivy
probably.
and a pick.
I don't
Maybe
see.
not even have to do a pick.
Yeah, you might not even have to do a pick. I mean,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
I'm,
I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm Detroit.
yeah, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm gonna ask for a pick, of course. But
Yeah.
I agree. And then we could then. I don't really see the Milwaukee. I don't see the Detroit side of it. It just doesn't quite click to me. Um,
Unless you get Giannis.
Trey Murphy, him going to Detroit too, is something that we like as well. I mean, if I don't really think they could get both. Is the one thing I don't think they could get both.
Wait,
MPJ,
what?
Trey.
And Trey, yeah, that'd be.
I think they can only get one of them. Um,
But again, Pat, I know I'm kind of shitting on all these ideas, but like the Pelicans, they have all these untouchables for such a bad team, and Trey Murphy's one of the biggest ones. I feel like they're not going to give him up unless a team is paying a extremely pretty penny to get this guy. Um, I just don't see him leaving, which sucks because he's so good. He's so good, but definitely not going to the Warriors or Kings. Yeah,
Kings are just in on everybody, I guess.
yeah, the Kings. I
I
don't. Yeah,
mean, they probably should, right? Like,
well, it's because they were willing to trade everybody but two players on their roster. So
yeah. Like they have all of their players are players that they like actively want to trade.
yeah,
Um so yeah, shout out to the Kings. Trey Murphy, I really do love him on the Pistons. Like I think that's even better than MPJ in my opinion. But I don't know. Like the Pelicans seem incredibly unlikely to move him. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's go. The Celtics, Warriors, Lakers.
for wait, who is this for?
Jaren.
Oh, for JJJ. Okay, okay. Um, Warriors, Celtics, Lakers. Yeah, dude. Again, the Lakers are not going to get him because they do not have enough assets to trade for him. The Celtics, that's pretty interesting. Maybe
I'm gonna
Jaren Jackson. Oh, it was Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Celtics. It was. That's who I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah, you give up Anfrey Simons, Sam Hauser, and a couple picks maybe, or a pick or two. And I think why wouldn't you not do that if you're the Grizzlies? This Grizzlies team, struggles to shoot the rock a little bit. I think it's been a little bit better recently, but I mean, add Sam Hauser, and that's going to go up significantly. And Anfrey Simons as well, and it gives you a point guard too if John Morant leaves in the near future. I would
I,
love, and then if the Celtics, you're getting like such a good defensive player, such a good offensive player, and he's going to be the third option. And he's been, I mean, I don't know, Pat. Would you agree that he's been the number one option in Memphis for a while now, or does John Morant take that title, or Bane?
he's definitely been overburdened, I would say.
Yeah, and like he's been putting up good numbers in the role. Like this dude can score the ball really well, and you surround him with the shooters that the Celtics have, and you don't have him needing to touch the ball every possession because you have Jaylen Brown and then eventually Jason Tatum. You also have D. White, Peyton Pritchard. That'd be such a good fit, and I think the Celtics automatically become the East favorites if that happens. Probably win the chip.
I think the underrated part is their ability to like house his deficiencies with like he basically just becomes a souped up version of Al Horford. is what he is at this point.
Scooped up. Like,
Yeah,
scooped.
and every team's going to be concerned about the lack of rebounding. Well, we got Jason Tatum and we got Jaylen Brown, who are big, big wings. Peyton Pritchard also just a weirdly excellent rebounding guard. So yeah, I mean, they can hide those flaws. They have a ton of shooting. He gives them a 5-out look and a double big look, which I don't think they have right now. And he gives them the ability to even, like, if you play him and Kata, like, you can even experiment later on with, like, okay, small ball Tatum lineups at the 5, because you don't need to necessarily play them both 25 minutes a game separate. You can play Jaren Jackson 32 minutes, and 10 of them are with Kata, and Kata plays 25 minutes, and then there will be minutes left over for you to run small ball center lineups. I mean, I just think it's an unfair, like, I don't want them to get Jaren Jackson Jr. Actually, guys, let's not have this happen. They can also, I don't know how far they are from ducking the tax, but they could duck the tax and get Jaren Jackson Jr. So
Yeah, and if you're Boston, the only way you take money in during this trade deadline is if you go out and get Jerry Jackson Jr. Otherwise, this team will not be taking money in.
I think
Like, the,
even with the Hauser and Simons one, I think they'd be, like, getting off money even.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, I think it's perfect. I think it'd be like, the reason I think Jaren Jackson's value will sway so much is because there will be teams that it really makes sense for, like Indiana and Boston, and there will be other teams where I think, like Toronto, I don't think it makes sense for them, even though they're in a similar spot to Boston, where they kind of do need this guy to rebound the basketball in Toronto's case, because even though they do run a ton of, like, wing size players, there's still not a ton of great rebounders out there. So yeah, shout out to this. Did you have any other thoughts? Because I know you probably came prepared with a couple more ideas.
Well, not really, Pat, but I just did see this insane three-team trade that I'm gonna. This is by Bleacher Report, and make sure you're following. Okay, I'll start with the Jazz. Okay, the
Wait, can you
Jazz.
screen share it?
It's on. Let me look it up because it's on my phone. It's on Instagram.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, wait. Yeah, okay, I think this is it. This should be it. Let me just double check. Okay. So this is who the Jazz
All
are
right.
getting in this trade. DeAndre Hunter, Max
DeAndre Hunter,
Strus, Sam Merrill, Lonzo Ball, Gabe Vincent, a first round pick, unprotected next year, and a 2031 first round pick, top 4 protected, okay?
Wait, can I make a guess of
We
what the
move.
other two pieces are?
Yes. Well, it's a 3-team trade.
Yeah. Is it Larry Markkinen and Jarrett Allen going to the Lakers and then LeBron going to the Cavs?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget Bronny and a Duthero. So Cleveland
Oh,
gets LeBron and Bronny, Duthero. The Lakers somehow walk out stealing Markkinen and Jared Allen, just making them absolutely stacked. And the Jazz get a lot of like okay role players and a couple first round picks. So if you're the Lakers, yeah, no shit, you do this. Like, obvious. If you're the Jazz or the Cavs, like, what is the point of doing this? Because to get LeBron James, who's going to be here for like another year, maybe you have to give up a rim protector, one of your good wings, another good wing, and a two backup point guards, like, and a great shooter. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
yeah, let's go. Cavs are risking it all on LeBron, which I think is the weirdly the worst part about this is the Lakers getting LeBron, and then the or the Lakers or the Cavs getting LeBron. The Lakers are hitting two players whose timeline matches Luka Doncic, who are like sub All-Star level. That's great, and then the Jazz are just like trading Lauri Markkanen for 2 first-round picks, which I mean they are late Lakers picks, so that could be valuable, but I don't know. I feel like after everything we've heard about Lauri Markkanen that they would have a higher price tag.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thought it'd be a goofy way to end the episode.
Awesome way to end the episode. Shout out to Bleacher Report. This is why they're so famous, because they bring us stuff like this that is undeniably awesome.
Absolute bangers.
Yeah, well, I don't really have anything else. Next week we will be recapping what I believe. Okay, so we're gonna try. We'll work it out to where we record after the deadline.
Okay.
And that will be next week's episode. We're reacting to the deadline, and then
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
I
you
had
had more
the.
projected.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought they announced the All Star like world teams and stuff, but they just announced the Rising Stars teams.
Okay. Well, that'll
That's
wrap
not
it
that.
up for this one.
Yeah.
We'll react to that another time. It's probably for not. But shout out to it. And then that'll be next episode, and then we'll have more fun stuff. That's for sure. We'll see you guys then.